Hello everybody, it is Owl Night and it is Brony time, and welcome back to the sad story of Emmeline Burns. Obviously, we already know who this is. So last episode, we found out that Emily is having a lesbianic relationship with her, what was her name? Caroline, I think. So that's what we know from what we are seeing right now. So without further ado, let's get back into this great story. Right? If only Emmeline and Cornelia could have continued to spend their time together in so sweet a manner, smiling, laughing, or else bickering pointlessly and making one another pout, yet always parting with words of love and kisses, stolen beneath the warm summer sun. Unfortunately, such moments cannot last forever. The splendors of the summer soon faded, and leaves began to turn brown, and the wind gained a sharp edge that made Emmeline shiver. It was also during the autumn months that Philip Burns returned home for the first time in half a year. This union, however, was not quite as happy as the previous ones had been. Philip Burns had always been a small man, yet he seemed even smaller during that bitterly cold September. He stooped more than usual when he entered rooms, if he entered them at all, for he had now developed a habit of lingering ghost-like about the threshold of his own home, as though afraid of stepping inside. It was almost as though, during a 6-month sojourn in London, he had lost something crucial to his constitution, his sense of self, or else his soul. Philip's feet were still planted firmly upon the earth, but he was divorced from the world around him. He drifted about aimlessly, like a somnambulist. I don't know what that is, yet was restless within his dream world, incapable of sitting still for more than 5 minutes at a time. He looked at things without seeing them, ate food without tasting it, held objects without touching them. Once he tried to pick up his glass during dinner, and used so little to force it slipped between his fingers, smashing to pieces against the floor. Even when he spoke to Emmeline, it was without any real feeling, like he was reciting words from a play script, and Philip Burns had never been a very good actor. He was not like Cornelia's father, who had so much huff and puff he could have blown down even the brick home built by the most industrious of the 3 little pigs. Philip Burns was far too honest, and that was the worst thing. It's because he was an honest man that Emily knew, though he tried to keep the truth from her. Something was wrong. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. But she did not know that. "Are you all right, Emmy?" Emmeline blinked, brushing a few strands out of her hair of her face, and turned. "Why do you ask? Was my face contorted in a curious manner?" "I suppose you could say that. You've been acting rather more dispotent than usual, that is all." Heh. A cat-like smile crossed Emmeline's lips. She leant forwards until her nose was only inches apart from her companion's, and said in hushed tones, "Are you worried about me, Nellie?" I was worried about you, but I shall not worry any longer if you insist upon acting like that." Emmeline only giggled, unmoved by Cornelia's protestations, and rearranged her hair. "Seeing you blush always cheers me up, my dear Cornelia. So you admit that you were feeling unhappy earlier. Just a touch. I cannot help myself. My own father has been acting in such a peculiar manner." Sorry. "He shammers about the house like an animated corpse, like the misunderstood creature from Mr. Shelley's novel." "Mr. Shelley? I thought the author of Frankenstein was Mrs. Shelley, not her husband." "Oh, I am unsure of the details, Nellie. Mother says a woman could not have written such a twisted tale, and I do not know which I should believe. In any event, it does not particularly matter." "Probably not, no. Well, you two kind of having a lesbianic relationship, which isn't considered womanlike back then. And it wasn't even fathomed, so I don't think you can say a woman couldn't have written a book. Because it was. I think a woman did write Frankenstein." Emmeline ran her hand through her auburn curls, or at least she tried to. She soon found that a bonnet got in the way of this gesture, so she untied the ribbon beneath her chin and removed the offending garment. She let her bonnet sit in her lap, as a mother might with a newly born babe, and played with the light green ribbon, twisting it about the wrist of her right arm. The sensation of the soft, smooth material against her skin was comforting, like a caress. To be quite honest, I have been rather concerned about father. Just this morning he missed a stair during his descent into the hallway and sprained his ankle. Could have broken his leg. But he did not. No, he did not. He does look rather undignified now, though, limping everywhere like an invalid. Oh, Emmy. Emmeline shifted, still playing with the ribbon of her bonnet. The look on Cornelia's face was too somber for a playful frost such as herself, and it was unsettling. She did not want to think about her father. She had retreated to Linton's estate, despite the protestations of Miss Warren. You have not finished your history lesson, Emmeline. I doubt you could tell Queen Elizabeth apart from a hole in the ground. So she could avoid thinking about her father. This was rather new for Emmeline. She had always loved being with her father. Now, however, she found herself seeking any recourse available to her to avoid him. Seeing him like this, so small and sad, shuffling about at home like a repentant sinner, was too painful. When you return home, would you give your father my regards? Mother is always concerned about him, and you too, Emmeline. Beatrice Linton would be concerned. She always loved poking her nose into other people's business. She's not doing it because she enjoys idle gossip. You should know better than anyone that my mother deplores that kind of behavior. She believes it to be most unpleasant. She could not help but feel worried, given what she has read in the papers lately. Family has a great deal invested in the East Anglian Railways, do they not? Don't talk to me about business, Nelly. I can't understand it all. At all. I'm sure you could if you tried. You have just been raised to believe that you should not bother. Gosh, you sound more and more like your mother every day. Emmeline exhaled, tightening the ribbons of her bonnet about her wrists so such started to hurt. The material was soft, intended for wear by young women with silken skin who had never worked a day in their privileged little lives. It chatted when she wound it as such about her wrist. It was strange, Emmeline mused, how something as innocuous or so I can't read that as a ribbon could cause her harm when it was used with malicious intent. The world was more dangerous than she had ever truly given it credit for. Even a lake, which she had often gazed upon with Cornelia, could be hiding some sinister secrets within its depths. I apologize, Nelly. I don't mean to snap at you. I have been rather highly strung as of late. It must be because of the atmosphere at home. Do not fret, Emmy. I understand. You do? Not entirely, but I will try to. I do care about you after all. Hee hee. Thank you, Nelly. The girls looked at one another, unusually shy, hesitant, the faces slightly flushed. Then with a tut, Cornelia leant forwards, brushing the tips of her finger across Emmeline's wrist. You should not do that. What? Fiddle with your bonnet like that. Because it is unbecoming of a lady? Because you are hurting yourself. Your poor hand has gone white. Blood cannot flow through your body properly if you impede it like that. He and your hands, by contrast, still appear to be red, Nelly. Emmeline giggled and bound to unwind the ribbon from her wrist. Are you still yet to master the sacred art of the cross-stitch? That is neither here nor there. I am trying to comfort you, Emmeline, and you have been doing a wonderful job. Gazing upon your many imperfections always cheers me. You are so cruel, Emmeline. Sometimes I feel like you do not truly love me. You just love toying with me. Now, where did you get this silly idea like that? Emmeline smiled with a touch less sarcasm than before, and leant forwards, moving quickly, as Kitty might pluck a fish out of water. She pressed a chaste kiss against the corner of Cornelia's lips. I love you more than ever. Nothing could quell my feelings for you, not a raging storm or howling wind. Cornelia pressed her hand against her gingerly. The spot where Emmeline had kissed her tingled. It felt much like being poked with a sewing needle, a sensation Cornelia was depressingly familiar with. Yet it was not unpleasant. Your blushes truly are beautiful, Cornelia. They would even outdo the roses in the midst of summer. Makes me wish I could kiss you every single second of the day, if it would always elicit such a lovely response. I do not think my heart would be able to cope with such a constant slew of affection. You would kill me, Emmy. And what better why would there be to die than to be kissed fervently by a girl you love? The light gill, even breezing now the coast air, Emmeline pressed another kiss against the side of Cornelia's mouth. You know you should ask for my permission before you do that. I am not quite as hungry for affection as you are. So you say, but you do not offer much resistance. That sounds like something Aubrey would say. Never. Never! You will not compare me to that cur again, would you, Nelly? I am simply saying what I see. You claim to dislike Aubrey, but you grow more and more like him with every passing day. But that's a lie, libel, slander. Take it back. No. Take it back, I said. I refuse. Well, I insist. If you want me to change my mind, you'll have to insist harder than that. Alright, how is this? With a devilish glint in her eye, which she could have evidence enough only a couple of centuries past to try her as a witch, Emily shifted towards the pagan in her merciless assault. Not even William of Normandy, as he drove back the armies of Helgarson during the stings, could have conceived of such brutality. Emmy, stop that! Cornelia kicked and squealed, pushed back against the sound by her son's siege, but it was to no avail. Emmeline had the element of surprise on her side. She had taken a clear advantage. Cornelia blinked up at Emmeline, squirming like a hooked fish as Emmeline sat astride her, skirts rucked up her thighs, her fingers blending her Cornelia's prone body, beneath her chin, under her arms, against her sides. Was there any war tactic more vicious, more wicked, more devious than that of tickling? This was not only any tickling, oh no, this was extreme tickling, that would surely end in bloodshed. Emmy, stop! Get off me! Cornelia implored breathlessly, choking the words from between her pursed lips, but the indomitable Emmeline remained unmoved. No, I will not. Not until you recant what you said. That you are like Aubrey. Indeed, I meant it to be nothing more than a lie, and I may spare your life. No, never. I stand by my word. But I will stand by my actions. I will not stop until you surrender, Nellie, and warn you I can be very persuasive when I want to be. Her eyes hardening like a steel of a sword's blade, Emmeline dipped her head and began to press kisses against Cornelia's neck. Cornelia's dress had begun to slip down her shoulders. There was a good deal of pale pink skin on show, more than would have been deemed socially acceptable. Ah, you rogue! This young girl, only because this helpless young girl is attempting to defile my honor. So, you would seek to defile me? Well, I wonder. Squealed as she had been doused in water and redoubled her efforts to escape, but it was all in vain. Two girls continued to bicker playfully, giggling even as the warmth of them began to dissipate, an autumnal chill settled into the air. That moment, as they drew close to a close, the two girls may truly have believed, with their rumble of clothing and disordered hair and flustered cheeks, that this could last forever. Alright, guys. That ends next. Emmeline was dreaming, though. She was not sure what it was exactly she was dreaming of. Her dreams were mostly comprised of vague shapes and distorted sounds, as though she were viewing her own fantasy lands from behind frozen glass or through a fine film of water. Sometimes, however, she dreamt of Cornelia. She always knew when she had dreamt of Cornelia, because when she awoke, it was a smile on her face and a soft flush across her cheeks. That was how she had realized she was in love. She was always thinking of Cornelia, even during the rare occasion when Cornelia was not beside her. Though Emmeline was only 14 and she did not fully understand what love was, she did not need to. Why trouble herself over the intricacies of the four-letter word when she could instead be doing things that made her happy? These things being chiefly talking to Cornelia, braiding her hair, making her blush, and kissing her lips, her cheeks, her eyelids. Emmeline was not particularly picky. On the particular night, however, Emmeline did not awake to find sunlight streaming through the window, half-formed remembrance of her love flitting through her mind. She did not awake the morning at all. It must have been late at night, because it was pitch black in her bedroom and she could not hear any birds. It was earlier than 5 than she assumed, for she had no way of knowing if this was correct or not. It was so dark in her room she could not see the clock that hung on her wall, but she could hear it ticking. The first point she was aware of, other than the oppressed darkness, was that it was cold. The chill of winter as well and truly setting in, especially during the night, and she could no longer sleep with her bare arms and a light coverlet, as she had done before. Summer sleeper had been packed away at the back of a wardrobe, and maids now set her winter nightgown. She went to sleep, completely with puff sleeves and high collars. The second Emmeline noticed, as her eyes slowly grew accustomed to the dark, was that she was not alone. There was somebody else in the room with her. It was none other than her father, Philip. Emmeline stared at her father with wide eyes. He looked back at her, and Emmeline could tell, despite the dark, he was just as surprised, if not more than she was. Had his face always looked so lined, his mouth so drawn? Perhaps the shadows were playing tricks on with her eyes, but he looked far older than his 44 years. Emmeline swallowed all of a sudden. Her throat felt dry. Father, is something wrong? Oh, nothing's wrong, Emmy. Nothing at all. But he did not look at her face, and he stuttered when he spoke. Why did he sound so frightened? Had something bad happened? Emmeline could not think of any other reason why he would be in a room at such an hour, looking so very tired. No, tired did not even begin to describe it. He looked haggard, as though on the brink of death, and his hands would not stop shaking, even when he clenched them into fists. Emmeline sat up in bed, the covers falling about her body like a funeral shroud, and looked at her father with concern. "It isn't Mother. Is she sick?" "Your mother, she is fine, Emmy. She should be sleeping now." "Oh." A pause. "And why are you not asleep, Father? Could you not?" "No, There's something I have to do." "At this hour?" "Yes, of the utmost importance. I don't imagine you would understand." Emmeline flinched. Her father's voice was strangely hard, despite the nervous stammer, and she was used to him talking to her in such a way. Maybe other girls' fathers spoke in such terse, clipped terms. Cornelia's father sometimes did, when Beatrice wasn't there to chastise her. But not her father, not Philip Burns. There was no warmth to his voice, no tenderness. It was as though he was always speaking to a stranger rather than his dear daughter, his priceless jewel, his lovely little Emmeline. "I may not understand what it is you wish to do, Father, but you are sure I cannot help?" "No, nobody can, but I appreciate the offer, Annie, but it is far too late." Her father swallowed. Emmeline could hear it. It sounded painful, as though he were attempting to choke down a lead bullet, or a piece of sheet shrapnel. I do not understand. If you do not believe I can help you, why did you come to my room? What is it you wish to discuss with me, Father?" Oh God. Philip's shoulder shook. It sounded like he was trying to stem a flow of oncoming tears, though he was not entirely successful. He bit down his lip, but moisture sparkled beneath the corner of his eyes, threatening to spill down his cheeks like April rain. If Grandmother Patience were here, she would have mocked him. She would have always had done when Philip was a child. Perhaps that's why Philip never visited Grandmother Patience. She made him feel like a young boy again, small, stupid, and utterly insignificant. That was why Philip had gone into banking. Though he was not suited for such a cutthroat industry, he did not believe the knack of it. Never had done. Grandmother Patience had said as much. He was determined to prove her wrong. He wanted for once in his life to make her proud. And look what that had cost him. His wealth, his reputation, and now, worst of all, his family too. There was no going back now. Father, are you right? What's wrong?" "Emmeline, oh my dear Emmy, I am sorry. I am so sorry. I tried to be a good father, Emmy. I really did try. I wanted to be kind. I wanted to be fair. I had no intention of treating you like my parents treated me, but I was incapable of doing it. In the end, it all went wrong. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was succeeding. And for a while, maybe I was. Now I realize that was a foolish fantasy dreamt by a foolish man. Oh, well, he's a socialist, but whatever. My mother was right. I should have been drowned when I was younger. It would have saved you all so much trouble. It would have made everything so much easier." "Father!" Emmeline got to her feet, her bare toes curling against the wooden floorboards, and took a few steps forwards. "Are you not feeling well? We can call for the physician if you would like. If only you would sit down. Look at how much you are trembling." Cough, cough, cough. No. Philip shook his head maniacally, back and forth like a tin soldier, his words spoken in almost frenzied fervour. "The physician cannot help me now. Nothing can help. We're done for, Emmeline. You and I, and your mother. This is it. This is the end." "The end of what exactly?" "Our money is gone, Emmeline. I made a terrible mistake, and now everything is gone. The bubble burst, and we lost it all. Every single thing." Emmeline stared at her father with mouth open. She did not know what to say. What could she say? She was only 14 years old, and she had always been told by her mother that women had no place in the world of business. It was only natural, when they could not understand facts and figures or tables of numbers. "That's because you never taught them anything!" Beatrice Linton was the exception. Rather than the rule, Beatrice Linton could do anything. She could have probably wrestled a bear to death with her own 2 hands, if need be. It should say if need be, not needs be. But Emmeline could not. She was only a young girl, standing in her bedroom in a winter nightgown, shivering like a leaf, and she did not know what to do, but she did not need to ponder her own powerlessness for much longer. "I'm sorry, Emma, I'm so sorry. I let you down, and now the only thing I can do to make amends." "Father, what are you—" Della was not able to finish her question. That is because at the moment, Philip Burns closed the distance between them and held his hand around his daughter's throat. His fingers dug into her skin, and Emmeline could not breathe. First, it was the shock that drew the air out of her lungs, but then it was the pressure about her throat choking her. Jesus! She could hardly believe it. Her father, who had never raised a hand to her in his life, who who would ever raise so much as a voice, even contemplate carrying out such hideous action, but he really was going to kill her. Emmeline felt herself going faint. She wondered idly if the dark purple bruises would be left around her throat when Philip let go. A fairy circle game made of mushrooms. Her head swam, her legs gave way beneath her, and she fell backwards onto her bed. Still, Philip's fingers did not budge. They remained upon her throat, fixated with gruesome tasks they had been charged with. It was almost as though Philip Burns had split in two. One half remained focused on the murder of his dear daughter, his beloved Emmy, while the other, appalled at his actions, looked away with disgust. Maybe he should have poisoned a nightly mug of hot cocoa instead. Then he wouldn't have had to bear witness to the look on her face. The life was slowly choked out of a teeny body. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And he was too. His cheeks were wet with tears, and more tears kept falling. Some of them splashed against Emmeline's cheeks. This offering of remorse made little difference. Emmeline was still dying. She had been dying from around 2 minutes now, though it felt like it had been far longer, and her heart was already starting to stammer inside her chest. I'm not doing it for you, Emmy. It's for the greater good, I promise. I cannot stand the thought of my little girl going to the workhouse. I just couldn't. Philip did not know what else to say. He doubted it would have made much of a difference. Emmeline stared up at the ceiling bleakly, her eyes vastly of white, her mouth hanging open. Her arms and legs were limp, and though her body was warm, it did not move. It could not. Philip removed his hand from Emmeline's throat, but Emmeline did not stir. Her eyes remained open, unfixed, misty with death. Emmy, oh my Emmy, my little Emmy. With a choked sob, Philip pulled this dear little girl, who was now a very dead little girl, into his arms and wept. Jesus! That took a nasty turn. After that, Philip Burns killed himself. He set the house ablaze, then slit his throat with a knife. Torching the house may seem like something of a waste, but if he had not, he would not have been buried with his wife and child. He had to make it look like an accident. Of course, Emmeline was not there to witness that, but she found out in due time. And that is the end of the sad story of Emmeline Burns. I open and close my mouth, but no sound comes out. I do not know what to say. I had always suspected it. Vague speculations about her being an internet celebrity aside, but I have no doubts left in my mind after hearing Emily's story. This girl is an Emily. I knew she was no Emily from the moment she introduced herself. Emmeline holds one hand to her throat, rubbing it gently, as though nursing a cold. I wish he had not choked me. I imagine he did it because he thought it would be less violent than stabbing me. But it took so long to die. 3 whole minutes. Worst of all, I could still think during that time. I could grieve. I could suffer. Gave me enough time to form regrets. Maybe that is why I could not die properly. Emmeline sighs, resting a hand against the top of her own gravestone. Unlike the ghosts in films, her hand doesn't pass through it. Instead, her fingers make contact, firm and solid. And I even see her shiver when the coldness of the stone permeates her pale skin. Maybe Grandmother Patience was right. Father does not have the willpower required to see things through until the end. Not even murder. I suppose I should congratulate him for trying, though. He really did try. It hurt horribly. I opened my mouth once more, but I didn't know what to say. How can I reply to that? What it must have felt like, being betrayed so deeply by our own dad. I don't know, because I don't have one of my own. Of course, this isn't true in the strictest sense of the word. I'm not a product of divine conception, and a human man did have a hand in my existence. I don't feel like I have a dad, though. Mum never talks about him, and I never thought to ask. I know Mum doesn't think about Saul Andrews, or that git, as she calls him when she is in charitable mood. She calls him far worse when she is not. And I don't like thinking about him either. I don't have much to think about anyway. I've never met him before. I've only seen his face in the photographs, and Mum threw most of those away. I can't say I blame her, given how reacted to the news of her pregnancy. Apparently he tried to coerce her into having an abortion. And when that didn't work, he turned tail and fled. Didn't even leave a note. What a git. I always thought I should hate Saul. And I don't even know him well enough for that. Instead, all I feel is an absence of feeling. Really, apathy. Now I can't help but wonder who has it worse, even though I know making such a comparison is unfair. Is it Emmeline, whose dad loved her dearly, to such an extent it wrung the life out of her lungs? Or is it me, whose dad loved me so little he ran away before I was born and never tried to talk to me? They're both bad in their own ways. If my mum bowed to Saul Andrews' wishes, I would be dead too. The fact remains, however, that I am not. Emmeline, meanwhile, is. Do you resent him? I do not know. I've had a lot of time to think about it, but I still can't come to a conclusion. Trying to describe it with words would seem inadequate, somehow, but I am upset. I wish it had never happened. I knew Father thought he had to do it, but I'm sure it took him a good deal of thought before he would even consider killing me and my mother. He was not a violent person. I know it might sound cliched, but he did not even like killing moths or spiders, and yet a person like him, spineless, grandmother patient said, was still able to murder his wife and child, and slit his own throat. Our financial situation must have been bad if he thought this was the only way he could save us. I don't profess to fully understand it myself, but there must have been a reason behind his actions. Men, not even the most hot-headed men, do not murder their wives and daughters on sudden whims or whispers from fairies. He must have done it in a difficult position, so I feel some sympathy, but at the same time, it just isn't fair! He never asked me what I wanted, and I certainly did not want to die. I want to stay alive. There were so many more things I wanted to do. I don't know what things I wanted to do, not exactly, but I had a whole life ahead of me. I thought I could think about it later. I thought I would have enough time. But I was naive. I just wanted to spend more time with Cornelia, even though I was young and I did not understand a great deal about the world around me. I knew that I loved her. I loved her with all of my heart. And then my father killed me, and that was the end of that. At least it should have been. I should have stopped loving her to the moment my heart stopped beating. But things are not always so simple. And do you know what happened to Cornelia? Bits and pieces. She was sad after I died, I think. She cried a lot, and she grew older, and was able to put what had happened behind her. She'll be dead now. She must have been dead for years and years. Emmeline smiles bitterly. Almost as long as I have. You didn't try to talk to her. I did, but she could not see me. I tried my hardest, but it felt so pointless. I could see her face, but I could not dry her tears. I wanted to tell her I was alright, as alright as a dead girl can be anyway, but there was nothing I could do. In the end, I decided to leave her alone. She had moved on, and I knew I should too. Following Cornelia did not make her happy, and it definitely did not make me happy. It just made me feel even more. I've not left this graveyard in almost a century. There has been no reason to leave. I've just stayed here and slept. A century might seem like a long time, but it slipped by rather quickly. Nobody could see me, so nobody bothered. At least, until today. You are the first person I met during the last 150 years who can see me. It is most peculiar. Well, I am quite a peculiar person. I've always liked graveyards. Ah, yes, you told me that earlier. I remembered. You don't think I'm weird, do you? You don't think I'm weird, do you? Perhaps a little, but I am rather happy about it. If you were not weird, as you said, you would not be able to see me, and I would still be alone. This might be because of me, though. What do you mean? You could see me with your own 2 eyes, correct? You have not stolen anybody else's, have you? No, of course not. It's just, I owe my life to the people who came before me. Maybe these eyes were a gift from Rose Bradford. Rose? She's one of my ancestors. Apparently she was a medium. That's what Mother says anyway. Yet if these are a gift from Rose Bradford, the self-proclaimed White Witch of Beverly, they haven't been of much use until now. I've never seen a ghost before, even though I've been to countless graveyards at my time. I have, always been strangely apt in the art of finding dead bodies, even when they're buried deep beneath the earth. Does this mean something? Anything? Nothing at all? Maybe the whole world is crawling with ghosts thicker than the fog that creeps across the ground, and they just never wanted to make my humble acquaintance. Perhaps they were hiding from me, sitting in the branches of trees, or peeking out from behind the stained glass church windows, whispering to themselves. Why would they approach me for help anyway? I'm only a young girl, only 14, but Emmeline did. Was there a reason for that? Now that I think about it. Her you said I resembled. Oh yes, well, really do like Coraline. Took me quite by surprise for a few moments. I thought you might really be her. But what was wrong, of course. You are not Cornelia. You are your own person, Verity. No, my name is Verity. We both know that, and I don't know if I'm my own person either. How could I be given my name, Toma, a diminutive for Thomas, picked because my real name was stolen 2 weeks before I was born? Andrew is the last name given to me by my dad, not as a gift, but as an afterthought, like a balled-up pair of socks for Christmas. My name was defined by men. My name was defined by a man I've never met before. A dead grandfather, an absent father. This belongs to me, nothing belongs to me. This moment I am nothing more than a composite of all names and long lost ancestors. Bradfords and Bowers and Kendalls and Lintons and... Wait a minute. Linton! Emmeline, can I ask you something? Of course, nothing would make me happier. I haven't had much of a chance to talk to others over the last century. I shut my lips, feel cracked and my fingertips twitch. Cornelia's last name, what was it? Why, it was Linton. It has been such a long time since I last saw her, but I'll never forget that. Linton, was it? Cornelia Linton. It'd be a coincidence, of course, but I don't know if I believed in coincidences. Not after everything that's happened today. That was the reason why Emmeline approached me. She thought I was Cornelia. Maybe in a sense I am, or at least a small part of me is. It is, but this sudden realization that I feel a light dawn upon me. It's not a real light. The sun remains firmly, stubbornly hidden behind the clouds, but it is light. It is sun understanding. A whole wealth of memories, a treasure chest of moments shared by the Lintons, lake of girlish laughter, and raspberry lemonade, and kisses that taste of carbonation, that I should have no knowledge of. These scenes should be sepia tainted like old photographs found in the back of Charity's store. From years gone well and truly by. I've never been kissed before. How would I know what it feels like? But I can imagine it. In fact, I do not need to imagine it because it really did happen. Not to current me, but to one of my relatives in another time, in a place not so very far away. Cornelia! Whizzed at me with wide eyes. I can't entirely believe it either. My body is still mine, but it's not at the same time. It's residing inside me, blown into the cold autumn breeze. It lingers hazy and sentimental, shy to make itself known. It does speak. I feel my heart pounding, but the sensation is... Or are they hers? I open my mouth to speak, but another peasant voice comes out. Emmy! Emmy, is it really you? Cornelia, you and I! Emmeline pressed her hands against her mouth, trying to stifle a gasp of disbelief. But is that unnecessary? How can a ghost breathe? But now, more than 100 years after her death, Emmeline has a whole new reason to be breathless. I thought you already passed on, even after you died. I was never able to find you, at any rate. Your body wasn't even buried here. That's right, I was buried where I died, in Wiltshire. I was 73, and you died peacefully. Yes, I'm not a ghost. I had no regrets, so I had no reason to come back. Yet right now, well, this was rather unexpected to tell you the truth. I had been resting peacefully and minding my own business when all of a sudden I found myself here, inside this body. It must have been years since I've looked so young. I must apologize to the young girl whose body I've stolen. It's awfully rude, and it wasn't intentional. Don't worry about it, Cornelia. I'm sure Verity won't mind. Verity, that's strange. I didn't think that was a name. At any rate, I must thank Miss Verity for her kindness, showing our one's identity with somebody else in quite a gesture. It might be to other people, but it isn't me. I already know what it feels like to share my identity with somebody else. I've been living my whole life in Amelia Miller's shadow. Compared to that, the light possession is nothing. This outfit is hardly appropriate, though. Cornelia flushes, tugging. This is rather too much leg on display. And what about the wind? I'm surprised the girls of today don't catch their deaths of cold. Hee hee, you sound like a caricature old lady, Cornelia. I am an old lady, and you are too. Stop trying to act cute. He was peering up at Cornelia with a familiar mischievous grin. It's the same grin she wore 150 years past, during lazy summer days by the lake, when she would... Oh, dang it, I missed it. But you still blush like a fair maiden, Cornelia. You didn't change at all. Neither did you, Emmy, though I hoped that you might. That attitude of yours was always so unseemly, Mother agreed. Beatrice Linton wouldn't know what fun it was that smacked her across the face. But my mother was a very commendable person. She might have been a little strict, but she was not without her good points. She was fully upset when she heard what happened to you, Emmy. Yes, what happened to poor little Emmy. And you, Cornelia, did you miss me too? Do you really need to ask that question? I just wanted to make sure. I know that you cried a good deal, and that upset me, but I don't know. I wanted you to move on and be happy. I really, truly did, but at the same time I was also scared and jealous too. You really were my first love. I suppose you were my last love too, and all the loves that could have come in between. I just don't want to be replaced. You were my one and only, and I wanted to be the same for you. I know you lived a lot longer than I did, and I know I'm being selfish, but when I think about you loving somebody other than me, it hurts. It hurts so much I can hardly stand it. Emmy. Shake, and through her eyes are devoid of tears, maybe crying is a luxury. not to afford it to ghosts. I'm sure she would be weeping if she could. She looks fragile, like a single push might shatter every single bone in her body. Is that why she avoided Cornelia, though she desperately wanted to see how she was? Is it because she was afraid? She can't run away now, not anymore. Cornelia takes a few steps forwards, and slow and stumbling around from her body. Cheers, Emmeline. She links their hands and squeezes gently. Hee. Emmeline giggles, wiping stray tears that even had a chance to fall from the corners of her eyes. Well, this is certainly new. You would never have been so bold in the past, Nellie. Perhaps not, but I've grown up. I've lived a long life. 73 years, was it? 73 years? It's an awfully long time to remain obsessed with a skinny young girl who's not kissed this summer, is it not? Indeed, it is an awfully long time, and yet, despite that, I was never able to forget you. It would be impossible, even if I wanted to. Cornelia bows her head, perhaps in an attempt to hide a threatening blush, but it does no good. She always used to blush around Emmeline, but that hasn't changed. I got married when I was 18. It was a match my mother arranged. She was always so officious, so organized, so practical. I wonder why her father did not ask her for advice during the stock market crash. She would have helped. I think he would have been too embarrassed. It is all grandmother Patience's fault. She was not a particularly nice woman by all accounts. That really is sad. It could have been avoided so easily. That is what I think too. Such thoughts do not do as much good now, though. No, I suppose they do not. She was about your beauty. Emmeline attempts to smile, though it looks forced. She's slightly strained at the edges. Was he a good looker, Cornelia? Did he sweep you off your feet, just like a prince in a fairy tale? Of course not. He was a match my mother chose for me. Do you think she would pair her dear daughter with a feckless sot? So he was sensible, was he? Very sensible. He was twice my age, and even he was already to lose his hair. But he was rich and had land and could afford to look after me. To my mother, that was the most important thing. And not your happiness. According to my mother, money is the root of all happiness. I would like to disagree, but Emmeline looked down at herself, smiling sadly. Given money can be blamed for the sorry state of affairs found themselves in. Perhaps there is a germ of truth to that. Perhaps, and I was happy with him in a sense. You loved him? No, I did not love him. He was too old, and we were too dissimilar. We did not have a single thing in common. Fortunately, he was not unkind. That is more than can be said for some men, I suppose. Oh, Cornelia, you do not need to be sorry. I may have been born happy, but I was not unhappy. Comfortable, all things considered, but you did not forget about me. No, I did not. I could not. You really did mean the world to me back then, Emmy, and I loved you with all my heart. Only back then, well, even now I still care for you. I never stopped caring. I just had to stop remembering. Oh, Cornelia, if my heart had not been stopped, I'm sure it would have skipped a beat. And my own heart is pounding rather uncomfortably, though it was not truly belonged to me. I hope I'm not causing this girl any undue strain. You always did worry too much, Nellie. You used to be scared that you would find out about us. You still let me kiss you, though. Yes, I was scared, but I'm glad for the time we spent together. Had I known it would be cut short, I would have confessed to you sooner. Say, Cornelia? Yes, what is it? I'm afraid I must ask. Your curiosity compels me to do so. Was I better kiss than your husband? It's fine if you cannot answer. It was quite some time since we last kissed one another. Perhaps you need to refresh your memory. I do not think I would be entirely averse to that. Well then, shall we? My heart pounds, or is it Cornelia's? Perhaps it belongs to both of us. Though she has been dead 150 years, Emmeline's lips are soft and warm, sweet and gentle. Sense of yearning. I wonder how long Emmeline has wanted to kiss Cornelia. How long has she been sleeping in this graveyard, filled dreams of a time gone by? But when she was young and happy, and very much alive, maybe she thought her dream would never come true. That was why she consigned herself to dreaming, and did not awake from a sleepy stupor, a ghostly girl, insolated for the rest of the world. But now she has finally managed to make her dreams come true. Is there any reason for her to haunt this graveyard further? Surely all of her regrets have been wiped away, like the spring and sunshine of the winter snow. She may never understand it as motivation for committing such a terrible crime, but I doubt that this was real regret that kept her body tied to this earth. Instead it was Cornelia. For Emmeline, it was always Cornelia. Emmy, you will come back with me this time, won't you? Without you? What? I thought you would have been enjoying the peace and quiet. You always did say I was a nuisance. You may have been bothered, but I did not mind the attention. can be rather dull at times, and I must go with you without delay. I would never want you to feel like you had been abandoned. That would be far too sad. Yes, I'll be waiting. I have encroached upon the girl's body for far too long, and I should give it back. It would be the proper thing to do. You always did care about the proper thing, Nellie. Evidently not enough, not even when it comes to you. My mother will be surprised when she learns. Oh. I just opened something. Oh god. Sorry about that. Evidently not enough. Not when it comes to you. Mother will be surprised when she learns. I look forward to seeing the expression on her face. I don't think I've ever seen Beatrice Linton surprised by anything before in her life. Yes, let's see how it goes, shall we? I would like to, the more anything in the world. Clear smiles, taking Millie's hand in her own and squeezes. I will see you on the other side of me. Please do not tarry. It has already been far too long. Ah. With that, I feel myself gradually gaining control of my body. To twitch, my eyelids blink, and I inhale the cool autumnal air almost greedily, like a drowning maiden resurfacing from the inky black water. My body belongs to me again, and only me, my identity. One substance among Cornelia's ego, like a moon orbiting the earth, has finally been restored. Until now, but I really do have an identity of my own. I might be quiet and I might be shy, and my classmates might call me weird, but that doesn't invalidate me as a person. Neither does the fact that Amelia Miller took my name, nor the fact that my dad left when I was still an embryo in my mom's womb. None of that matters. It's all irrelevant. It doesn't change the fact that I exist. I am alive. I am a product of all my ancestors before me. A whole strong Sussevite relatives with their own stories to tell, and I have a story of my own. How could I throw my identity away? It may not fit me perfectly, but it's the only one I have. If I don't like it, all I need to do is create another. I have that power. Why did I never realize it before until it was wrestled away from me by a restless memory of a girl long since dead? The old saying must be true. You never realize what you have until you lose it. Verity, thank you for helping me. You have no idea how much it means to me. I'm really glad that I met you, though I was never able to learn your name. My name is a name that belongs to me. I straighten my back, inhale on full air, and declare, my name is Toma Andrews. It's a pleasure to meet you, Emmeline. Toma, what a cute name. Cute? The only other person who says that is Hattie. Everyone else thinks it's weird. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Nellie will get jealous. I think it is perfectly charming, though. Why did you not wish to share it with me? I'm not entirely sure. I was embarrassed. Embarrassed by your name? That's right. But I think I've realized something. I don't want to be embarrassed anymore. Well, maybe I was able to teach you something too. That was another one of my dreams. Your dreams? Yes, I did so love English literature, and I would have enjoyed being a tutor. That might have been somewhat difficult, given the period I lived in, but it seems times are starting to change. I feel myself flushing. Why is my skirt such a point of public interest? Isn't it that short, is it? If Emmeline and Cornelia are scandalized by my skirt, they should see Emily Hargrave. That would knock them unconscious. I hope you have a pleasant life, dear Toma. When the time comes, you'll have to tell me all about it. Just don't worry, I will. I'll go on all kinds of adventures, and I'll get some stories, real stories to share with you. I can't wait. It seems like the next century is going to be very interesting indeed. With a cheerful giggle, Emily's body begins to disappear from this world. I watch she fades away until she becomes nothing more than a memory. I pinch my arm. It hurts. I guess this wasn't a dream after all. I really did meet a ghost called Emmeline Burns, and I did really get my long-lost ancestor Cornelia Lanton. My mum would be so jealous. A silly smile rises to my lips, despite myself, and I can't help but giggle. I don't know if my body has ever felt this light. I need to keep going forwards, no matter what happens. I should try to be more like Emmeline, who didn't give up on her dreams. Even as she died, I could use the willpower like that. It's probably because of that strength of will that Cornelia fell in love with her. Who wouldn't? Despite a sad story, Emmeline Burns really is beautiful. I hope that I, Toma Andrews, a recovering victim of identity theft, can someday be as beautiful as her. Wow, guys. What a great story. Just the story, the love, it all just seemed so interesting, and at the end, hearing that her father had murdered her was just, it honestly hit me in the feels. I mean, that's horrible. I was like, horrible. Why would he do that? I don't know what he was thinking, but thank you for whoever you are for making this game. You are the best. No, thank you for making. Oh boy. Oh, there's an after. Oh, dang. Hold on. Is that really coming down that fast? Sky overhead is steely, stale grey, completely overcast with clouds. The rain falls down an endless stream, beating mercilessly against the ground. It's just great. The curls are going to fall out of my hair. At least we're able to go out shopping down before it started. I suppose so. It's so dreary, though. Hattie frowns, fiddling with one of her curls with the tip of her index finger. She must have spent a long time on those curls this morning. Hattie's something of a perfectionist, so she spends a long time on everything. Her handwriting is incredibly neat. Script that wouldn't look out of place in the 18th century manuscript, but it takes her a small eternity to do all her schoolwork. Sadly, the dampness in the aspect has taken a toll on her curls, and they'll no longer look as curly as though a few hours ago. Hattie's hair has been deflating slowly through the day, but this sundown pour must have been the last straw. It's all right, Hattie, I pause, shifting the plastic benches cold beneath the exposed backs of my thighs, and it bites through my thin fabric of my socks. I shiver. Maybe I should have worn something more season-appropriate, but I didn't think it was going to rain this much. I didn't even bring an umbrella. I knew it was foggy this morning, but it's been foggy every single morning these last 2 weeks, and it didn't rain then, so I was just unlucky. I still think it looks nice. You do? That's right, you're very pretty, you know. Hattie blinked. She looks a little perplexed, but only for a few moments. Where is this coming from? Do you feel guilty about the money? Oh, no, it isn't that, really. Well, I wonder. You don't need to feel indebted. I've told you enough times. It's only £5. You can pay me back whenever. Or you can keep quiet about it until I forget. Whatever works for you. I'd never do that. That's wrong. I'll pay you back no matter what. Even if I have to sell off one of my kidneys. You'd go that far? If I could find anybody willing to make an offer. Haha, you're so devoted like a puppy. This is why I don't mind lending you money. I trust you. Thank you. No, thank you. I didn't do anything to be thanked for, though. My mother always says honesty is the best policy. It should be the only policy. I wish everybody was pure as you, Toma. Hattie's always lending me money. Her parents are a good deal richer than mine, and I think she feels kind of guilty about it. I appreciate it, but I wasn't talking about the money earlier. I wanted to pay her a genuine compliment because it's how I genuinely feel. I find it hard to express it sometimes, though. I've been friends with Hattie since we were both in primary school, but I'm still bad at expressing myself around her. Maybe that's because this last year or so, something more than just a friend. I wonder if it was inevitable. I mean, she was the only real friend I have. We always sit together in lunch and we group together in physical education. And we have sleepovers at each other's houses. Since I see so much of her, it might be natural, but I started to like her like that. There isn't anybody else for me to get attached to. I'm too shy to talk to the people, so I don't have any choices. I know some of the girls in my class have crushes on celebrities, actors and singers and sports stars. I don't really understand that. How can you like somebody you've never even met? Don't know anything about them. Hattie's the only person I feel particularly close to. There must be more to feelings than that, though. Hattie's pretty and she's kind and she makes me laugh. She likes romance stories and she's read Jane Eyre about 4 times. And she loves kitschy places like those old-fashioned photography parlors where you get to wear ruffled dresses and act like Victorian ladies. She doesn't think it's weird that I like to spend time in graveyards. Maybe it's because her interests are so similarly old-fashioned, in a slight different way. When Hattie learnt I cut school last Friday because I was loitering in the cemetery, she just nodded her head and said, "That sounds like you, Thelma." Hattie understands me at last. I like to think she does. Hope I can understand her too, just a little bit. Wonder if that's what love is, understanding somebody else. That might be why I found it so hard to love myself. I had no idea who I was. Only vague hopes about who I wanted to be. But that's in the past now, at least I hope it is. You know, you've been acting a lot differently, Thelma. Off? Hattie nods. Like, not in a bad way, just different, that's all. Did you really think so? Yeah, I mean, you actually skipped school for one thing. I never would have expected it out of a model student like you. My mother didn't expect it either. She was kind of mad about it. I don't really know why I did it. I felt compelled. Like you heard some divine voice telling you to ditch school? No, not like that. It's more I had a feeling. Not that I'm a psychic or anything. Where am I? Could I have mystical powers of some sort? Given I was able to see and speak to a real ghost? I'm not sure. I feel like you become a bit bolder too. Bold? There's no way. I still get anxious when I have to order food in McDonald's. My hands start to shake and my voice goes all croaky. Do you think the cashier cared that much that you wanted an apple pie? I don't think he cared about me at all. But it doesn't make any difference. It's not logical. Probably rarely. Shy people. Doubly so. I know this only too well, having been shy all my life. You still managed to order it for yourself, though. You usually ask me. Well, I thought I shouldn't rely on you all the time. I mean, you did lend me the money to buy these boots. I gave you a $5. It hardly broke the bank. And that's another thing you wanted those boots for months. But you never bought them. Why the sudden change of heart? I don't know. I thought if I want to do something, I should do it. Life's too short to waste it wanting to do things, but being too early to. Never know what it might end, just like Emmeline did so unexpectedly. I think there's something I learnt after meeting her. I was living my life like a shadow, always hiding myself away in corners, trying to draw as little attention to myself as possible. That's not how I want to live, though. It's not how Emmeline lived, even though she existed in a period when women were expected to shut up and behave. I need to try and be stronger rather than wishing I was somebody else, but being too shy and scared and resigned to even try to change, I must make an effort. I try to recall Emmeline now, her soft curls, her softer lips, and the purple bruises that stood out starkly against her pale skin, but those attributes feel like a little more than a list. They're not real to me anymore, as they once were, because I can't see them. I might never see them again, and now she's passed on to the other side, wherever that may be. You think seeing a ghost, then being possessed by a departed lover, would leave more of a lasting impression, but I guess not. Life continues to go on. We know Emmeline and Cornelia, whose lives have ended and moved on. I need to keep going too. I haven't told any about what I saw. Who would believe me? They'd all think I was delusional. I'm half tempted to believe what I saw might be a delusion too, were it not for the memories that still linger, ghost-like, in the back of my brain. The large lake at the Linton's estate. The taste of raspberry lemonade in the long, luxurious summers. The fingers against my skin, running through my hair, tracing patterns against my collarbone. The sensation of lips against my own, but they were not mine. They were Cornelia's, and these are our memories, and I have no business clinging on to them like this. But I can't help myself. When she possessed me, or beings merged, I hold within me all of what she did, in duplicated sepia-tinted, yes, but still there nevertheless. These borrowed memories are already starting to slip away, piece by piece, dispersing into my dreams, where I close my eyes at night, but they're not gone yet. If I close my eyes and wrinkle my brow and concentrate as hard as I can bring these images to the forefront of my mind once more. I know what it feels like to be kissed on the forehead, the nose, the cheeks, the neck, by the girl I love, but I'll never even be kissed before, not truly. Makes me curious, what would it feel like? Oh my gosh, this goes on forever, man. I mean, like, this goes on forever. I glance at Hattie's from beneath my lashes. She noticed and I flush. Is there something wrong? Do I have something on my face? No, that's not it. I'm just thinking. Of what? A memory. Two young girls drenched in the rain, startled by the sun downpour. Once one of them laughs delighted, the other sighs. Go back and forth until they appear to reach some kind of truce, a cold embrace. With damp clothes and damp bodies, fingers run through hair, teasing out lank locks, brushing raindrops away from pale cheeks. Lips meet together. Their mouths are hot. It's not my memory. It's not even something I should be remembering. I just try to forget it, ignore it, but I can't. Yes, what is it? I wasn't joking, I really do think you're pretty, you know. Being weirdly sentimental today. Haven't been diagnosed with terminal disease, have you? What? No, why would you think that? Because you're being all impulsive lately. Taking more chances. Isn't that what people do when they find out they're going to die soon? Or when they win the lottery? Hattie frowns. Hey, Toma, if you win the lottery and you haven't told me, I'll be really annoyed. I want those £5 back now, with interest. Ha ha! Start to laugh and give Hattie a small push. She almost overbounces. She's able to right herself at the last moment. Of course I haven't won the lottery. I'm not even old enough to buy a ticket. And the terminal disaster. No, I don't have a terminal disease, at least. I don't think I do. Is it really that weird that I want to pay you a compliment? She isn't trying to brush me off because she's feeling awkward, is she? I don't want to make Hattie uncomfortable. She's one of my only friends. That's why I didn't tell her how I felt, even when I found myself thinking of her at odd moments, missing her when she wasn't around. I did not want to abandon me. I still don't, but if it's Hattie, I should try to have more faith. I've never had any faith in myself, but she was made my only friend for the last decade, longer than half my life. I don't think she'd like me any less if I told her how I felt. She might think it's a little strange, and she might not understand, but I really don't know. Maybe I don't need to. I don't know if Emmeline and Cornelia did. Why does everything have to happen for a reason? Why can't images just happen? We humans think too much, all of us. So we become our own worst enemies, always planning and preparing, but never advancing. I'm tired of that. Spurred on by the memories of Emmeline Coraline, I'll be able to gather my courage. It's still small, weak, and there isn't much of it, but it's mine all the same and it matters. I matter. My feelings matter. Hetty, I look at my face. Pink. My voice sticks in my throat for a moment. To back down. I've liked you for a while, maybe for a few months, or maybe longer. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I like you more than a friend, and you might think this strange, but well, I'm sorry. I'm a strange person. Used to it. There's small silence broken only by the sound of falling rain. Chest underneath my shirt. What did she think? What kind of expression is she making? I want to lift my head to see, but at the same time I'm scared. She confessed that doesn't mean I'm not afraid. I'm more afraid than ever, but it feels like a weight and lifted from my chest. I think this was all worthwhile. Even if nothing else comes of this, I'm satisfied. I don't need anything anymore. I try to tell myself, but these thoughts vanish as soon as I feel a soft warm sensation up my right hand. Hattie? It's alright, I know you're strange. That's why I like you. I apologize for it. So does that mean you... Yeah, I like you too, Telma. You do? She nods. But you're always reading those old romance stories, so I thought you prefer Mr. Darcy or Mr. Rochester. I like romance stories because they're stories. Grumpy old men aren't really my thing. Aren't girls much prettier? That's definitely true. I like girls more too, at least I think I do. My words are waving, unsure, but the presence of Hattie's fingers around mine is comforting. Heartbeat. I could get used to this. I want to make memories like this. Lots and lots of memories, all my own, just for me. The confession might be a bit understated. My emotions revealed at a grotty bus stop on an overcast day spattered with rain, but that's alright with me. It's not like the love that blossomed between Coraline and Emmeline on summer days by the lakes. Raspberry lemonade, but why should it be? This is my life, and I'll live it like I want. The past is interesting, and I am thankful for all my relatives who came before me, who made me who I am, but that is all they did. They should influence how I act as well. Anxious, shy, tentative, but nevertheless determined. I tip my head against Hattie's. The rain around me continues to fall, drumming against the roof of the bus shelter. The two of us sit there silently, sharing our first kiss, waiting for the bus that might never come. I hope it doesn't. I wanted this moment to last forever. So, that is the final chapter of The Sad Story of Emmeline Burns. I'm glad it all came full circle. I'm sorry this video took so long, but I was just so invested in the story that I really wanted to continue it. And it was great. Sorry, I'm still stuck in that horrible British accent, and I'm sorry if you couldn't understand. I hope you're able to read it. I talk really fast, so it takes time to keep up with me, but there are things there that you should be able to read quicker than I do. So, yeah, that was a really, amazing story. And that brings this full circle. All of it comes full circle. And this story was so good. I loved every second of it. I loved it. I could never, ever, probably write a story like that. Very cleverly written. I'm hoping they're going to write some more, and they're going to be free so I can read them all to you. But please, please, please go read the story for yourself without me speaking over it. Sure, you've already seen it, you know the story, but I think it's better for you to hear the music, feel the story yourself. So please, it's free, cost you nothing. Go download it. And I'm really hoping that I'm definitely probably going to do another one of these visual novels. I have 2 more in the plans. I have Cupid, which is really, really, it's not like this story. It's not all sweet and cuddly. It's like violent. And then there's Lucid 9 and some others that I know that are on Steam, and I'll have to read those. So thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to BronyTime for more content, and I will see you guys next time.